Welcome back to the channel. There's going to be something that I'm going to go through. Now, two years ago I had a woman pursue me, Turkish woman, and she was a family friend, relative. And it was where her family came to stay and visit here as well because she was studying here. And I went a bit into this in the past, so I made a video of this in the past with a lot of detail, but I'm gonna link it up into this video as well. So what I want to go into here is the perspective that she had compared to me. So women, like, I've gained a lot of knowledge to know that women her age and her kind of rate, societal rate, market value rate that they have between 3 and 6 is where they try to find a man that is higher value than them. So 7, 8, 6 out of 10 men, depending on their own rating. This is called hypergyny, not hypergamy. So I know that so many, I believe, I searched it up, and I believe so many people are getting it misknown. They call it hypergamy instead of hypergyny with an N, where women selectively choose someone that is higher valued than them perceived by society. At that time, I was a 4 out of 10, I would say, or yeah, around there. I wouldn't say 5 out of 10, definitely not, so about a 4. I would say she was probably very close to my rating, or if you want to argue it, she would be 1 rating above me. Her face card, what people call it, was, I don't know, you could argue because she's a woman, bit more good looking than me, because she's a woman, there's that. And because I had more weight, I had way more weight on. I was about 85 kilos at 173 centimeters of height. So that's about, 5'8" and a half-ish. So that is, I was fat. I was definitely overweight, 100%. And I had low amount of muscle. That was the year where I started taking gym very seriously. So I was regularly going to the gym. At that time, I believe 1 year or 2 years about, I was going regularly to the gym. But I wasn't losing weight, I hadn't cracked the code of how to lose weight at that time. This was, if you go when I started gym taking it seriously, was 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. I'm 25 now. So that was when I was like 21, when I started taking it seriously. And at that time when she was visiting and whatnot, I was about 22, 23. So I was improving my body, but I wasn't losing weight, and that was a massive subtraction to how I was perceived and looked at. Definitely, I was around a 4 out of 10. Maybe some people, could put it at 3.5 out of 10. And I wasn't horrible looking. I wasn't just pleasant looking either. Definitely 100% no. The reason why I know why there's such a massive difference of how I am right now, my perceived value right now compared to before, is I get treated very differently now compared to that time. So 2-3 years ago. Massive difference. 100 million%, 100%. It's partially got to do with I left London. There's that as well. But I definitely know even if I'm in London right now, I will get treated good, like way better than before. So that's how I know my value is about a 6 out of 10. But besides the point, that's not the main point. at that time, I was probably one level below her in whole society value and gender value. So she's striking to get men that is higher value than her. So she's looking for a 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10, possibly an 8 if she can get. She's looking for that. Her options are open for that range. Now, I don't know if she knows that she's a 4 out of 10. I don't know if she knows that or not. But her just aims are the 6, 7, 8 men out of 10. One of the main reasons for this, I know the reasons, I know why she tries it, and I know why women her age and her rating range try this over and over again. So usually the journey that they go on when they are dating or trying to find any kind of boyfriend, spouse, it doesn't have to be, I'm looking to get married. They're just looking for some prospect, basically. And it's very, very low key. It's usually very low key. It doesn't mean that they are deceiving you necessarily. It just means that many of these kinds of women, they just operate very low key when they're looking for a prospect. Men are much, much more open. So if men are looking for a prospect, usually, not all the time, they will make it known. It's quite obvious. What happened here is she behaves in this way because out of 10 strikes, one of them will hit. That's usually how it works. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it. If it didn't work, then they wouldn't do it. What they do is 9 men reject her, that she's looking between 5 and 8 out of 10, let's say. And she doesn't want the 5, don't get me wrong. She's still looking at them as like, yeah, prospect, we'll be friends, blah, blah, blah. But usually the friend zone. You know, the 5's going to the friend zone. And it's almost like, you know, as a kid, when you would collect a card, there's this book that you would have. The regular cards, the rare cards, and like the extremely rare cards. And the special cards, whatnot. The unique special cards. So each one had like some kind of category. That's how they work with dating. This is like something that I definitely know, so I'm just putting it out there. I believe making this video makes it more clarification on what's going on and more in depth that most people don't know. Which let's see what that goes into. But I'm very new to, so I'm new to this level. I'm new to integrating this in my life at the age of 25. So just bear that in mind as well. So I'll try to, in this video, try to open the scale and like the map, if you will, of what I know as much as possible in here. So in that case, she's seeing it as card collections, literally like that when we would do as kids. She's looking at she's got a friend that is a 5 out of 10, maybe a 5.5, let's say. And he's definitely in the friend zone, way more often than not. That's how they base their I'm attracted to you, you're my type, you're not my type. It's actually not like that. It's how valuable are you compared to the other women that rate you, pretty much. That's way more important than her specific type. Okay, so if in general women have a high perceived value of you, then this woman will rate you highly in general. Doesn't even matter if you're an emo, doesn't matter if you're a loser, does not matter. It just matters how other women view you. So in this case, women don't view me good at all because I'm literally a 4 out of 10, you know, maybe a 3.5. And my body's definitely not great. I've got some muscle, which is great, but it's not showing whatsoever because of the amount of fat that is in my body. In this last 2 years, minimum 100%, I've lost 10 kg. I actually lost 15 kg, but now it's 10 because I'm bulking. But I was on 70 kg and my muscle rate was very good. And now it's significantly better than it was 2 years ago. So I'm just comparing it to myself 2 years ago, how it was. incredible improvement, 100% without a doubt. There was some times where I look in the mirror and I can't believe that this is my current body. You know, in 2 years, it's very good. It's not cheat code levels good, but it's just, wow, did I actually achieve that? Like, it's shocking. Back to the main point. The main point is they collect it like cards, so they have a range. They have prospects. She's looking for, it's hypergyny. She's looking to date higher up. I'm obviously not higher up. I was 4 out of 10, 3.5, and she was about a 4.5 out of 10. Definitely not a 5. That is impossible. So 4 or 4.5. So our ratings are actually on paper very, very close. So if our ratings are very close, why is she not? Later on, she was interested in me. Later on, like at the end of knowing her at all, having any contact with her. But in the beginning, it's completely normal. She didn't have attraction towards me. Like extremely, extremely unlikely. Because it's very, for me now, it's obvious if a woman has attraction to you or not, for me. That's what I notice now. She's completely natural. Later on, she was definitely interested because of a prospect. So I was, even if I was accepted, I was one of the friend zone guys, or I'll settle with this guy if I can't find any other guy that is the range that I want, basically. So I was definitely in that category. She knew that I could improve. She knew that I could become a 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 7, stretching it. And so she was keeping that in mind, most likely, I'm thinking. But she definitely wanted to play her cards of how can I find the highest value in the shortest amount of time. I don't know why that is. I don't know why they look for the shortest amount of time. But there might be some plausible reasons. Maybe it's because she wants to be pregnant as quick as possible. It's just a natural desire, natural biological way of thinking. But I know that there are some abnormal things because of this modern world as well. The options are very, very, very vast compared to the past. Okay, so this is causing a lot of delusional and a lot of psychotic women, you know, women that are just, they've lost their landscape, they've lost the real value of who they are and what is realistically going to happen in their life. So what usually happens is they usually fail, like a lot. They're getting false validation from her mum and maybe her sisters, maybe her friends, definitely, like I know this for sure, because I know her mum closely, like at that time, for sure. And there was definitely validation of, like, you deserve it, honey, you know, you deserve very, very good man and whatnot. And as a parent says this to her daughter, I understand you want what's best for your daughter. I can imagine that you would overrate your daughter, you know, maybe I would as well. But I just know how bad it is now. I know the consequences now. The consequences are that they become delusional of what their actual value is. Much better to underrate someone than to overrate someone. Because when you overrate them, the chances that come by, I'm not saying that, look, I'm a catch. I'm certainly a catch now. I really think so. But before, I wouldn't. So now the level that I am is extremely higher than what it was before, which is fantastic. I do 95% of anything in my adult life autonomously. So that's extremely big positive. Why do I mention this? I mention this because right now the level adult that I am is demolishing the level that she's in. And she's 3-4 years older than me, keeping that in mind. So that's really, really, really bad. That's bad because for women biologically, I've seen this. Any woman that is not improving at their age range is way behind, way more behind than if a guy was not improving as at his age range. Reason why is age is way more important to women than it is to men. I don't exactly know the reason why. I just know that a woman becoming pregnant potentially between the ages of whatever 18 to 35 is critical. That's what I know. That's what I've seen a million times. So maybe that's one of the main reasons why it's so important for her to get her stuff together as early as possible compared to guys. So that's clarified. So as a person right now and in looks, I'm definitely above her without a doubt at the moment. But in the past it wasn't that way. But what I knew, so what that means is, what am I trying to get into here? Let me just make this as good as possible. So I don't know the main reason to this, but I just definitely know that women have a much higher range of selection for the same rating, for the same societal rating, if they had it as a man. So if a woman was 5.4 out of 10 and the man was 5.4 out of 10, the woman would have much wider range selection and much bigger perceived options than the guy would. Okay? What many women don't know that I know, that most of the actual population doesn't know, and that is that the amount of range that women think that they have access to, they actually don't. They don't have it access to. It's a little bit complex to explain this as good as possible, but if I was to try as short as possible, it would be because guys, many guys that say that they want to be with you don't actually want to be with you, they just want to be in bed with you. But the woman interprets that as, if they want to be in bed with me, then potentially they would want to be with me, which is untrue. Like, that's what I want to make as clear as possible. So how does that affect life? How does that affect dating? How does that affect how women in general in the world without dating treat people around them? It makes them delusional, basically. It makes them delusional. It makes them very high egotistical. It makes them think they have lots of options when they don't. Their future is very bleak because of how they are acting. If they were more analytical and more humble and more grounded, then their future would be a lot better because they know what's the real options, you know, and they could make even smarter decisions. So that's one critical, massive scale mistake that women in general, especially more so the average women, are making. So most of the population, maybe not most of the population, but because most people are average. Most people are in the average scale. You know, if you look at men and women, most of them are in between the 3 out of 10 to the 7 out of 10. Most people. I've noticed the most amount of change happens between the 6 out of 10 and the 8 out of 10 for men and women. The options increase a lot, like an extreme amount. But it doesn't necessarily mean that these people want to be with you. They just want to be in bed with you. Same goes for men as well, but much less than women. It applies for women much more. So that kind of behavior, how did it affect my life and what was my view? My view at that time was that it was silly. At that time, I was slightly below her value. Thought that she's immature, she's bad at problem solving. So in my perspective, if this woman is less developed than me, less mature than me, has less of an intelligence than me, I'm just being true, like factual. You can call it ego, you can call it whatever. I'm just calling it self-confidence. Because I know myself pretty well. The reason why I write a lot about myself and my thoughts, of things, because things change. So I have to relook at the things that I thought before. That's how I keep myself updated of the times and myself. So knowing this, that I'm higher than her pretty much, both personally and from, not societally, but just personally, it makes me think, in my perspective, no matter how good look, she could be an 8 out of 10, 10 out of 10. Okay? I know definitely there are some portion of men, 20%, 30% of men, that would still accept her if she was an 8 out of 10, 10 out of 10. Okay? I'm not one of those men. Let me just clarify that. I'm not one of those men. Your exterior qualities do not provide me with more importance, value, than the person that you are. So for me, the person that you are, how mature you are, how much you know yourself, what kind of vibes you have, what kind of person you are with your environment is way more important than any kind of value on the outside. Okay? A lot of women struggle to grasp that. They think, if I'm a 10 out of 10, why is this guy not treating me very, very good? Because 90% of people are treating me very good if you're a 10 out of 10. If you're a 10 out of 10, let's say around 90% of everybody, literally the whole population, treats you well. So why is this person not treating me well? That's the reason. That's critical. And that criticalness is blinded in the lives of these kinds of women. They don't see that they are playing a game for the people that don't mean good for them. They are making themselves better for people that they're not genuine with them. Do you understand? That's maybe one of the reasons why nice guys, women don't perceive them well, women don't see them as, because most of the time they are not genuine. They're nice guys, They want something out of you, that's why they are nice. So women feel, in general, this also kind of applies to men as well, the nice, overly nice people are not someone to be trusted. They don't mean good for them. Correct? This is really correct. This is factually correct. So why does this not... This applies to others as well, not only to the nice guys. Any of that 90%, if you were a 10 out of 10, the 90% that treat you well, let's say majority of them, 70% of them, they're not looking good reasons to be around you, So that's how you trust someone. You trust someone because they don't want to, I want to make you feel better, I want to make you feel better, I want to make you feel better. But there is this perceived value societally that people are getting wrong, and that is, if somebody continuously tries to make me feel better, then they are good for my life, they are good people. Untrue. I want to make that as clear as possible. And that's how it is. It's shocking. It is shocking how deluded a person can be because they see themselves in a certain way and they're trying to sell that version to you, basically. And when they try to sell it to me, because maybe I'm high self-aware, I don't know, I really don't know. I just know that my analysis, my self-review, my level of, I don't even know what to call it. Let's call it the air of living, is much higher than these kinds of people, which makes me way more aware of the rubbish that they are trying to sell me, because I know it's untrue. So she tries to sell her beauty, she tries to sell that she's doing a law course, university masters, and I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. Other people are buying it. Her mum is buying it. My mum's buying it. My dad's buying it. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. Because it's obvious. It's extremely obvious that you are lying. You are deceiving. You don't actually like what you do. I can see it. There's no amount of money that will buy that. There's no amount of lying that will buy that. You can't sell me something that I can clearly see is not fact. So they try for the next one, and they'll try for the next one, and they'll try for the next one. So this will go on. Like, I know these kinds of people's fates usually. How does it go? They'll try with in their country, probably wherever that they live, around their area, like any person would. They'll try for another 7 out of 10. They'll try for another 6 out of 10. They'll try for an 8 out of 10. They'll try. They will sleep with 7 out of 10 men because she's a 4. Maybe she will increase in value later, 1 or 2 years later, but it's less likely with women. Usually with men, they're more likely to actually improve their whole entire value in society. But it's possible if she hits the gym, if she gets to know herself better, if she becomes more of an adult, then yes, she would become higher value. She might become 6 out of 10. But what her trajectory is she will look for 7 out of 10. She will look for 8s, and she will try to sleep with them. She'll do anything to sleep with them. She'll make it clear. And she'll continue to play the game of, I'm very valuable, and if you fake it, then you'll make it. That's the kind of dice that they are rolling every single time. And they're hoping that one of them hits, because if one of them hits, then great, they've got a 7 out of 10 man, Again, as I've said, they wouldn't do this if it doesn't work. It does work, just sometimes, very rarely. So they will play that game, okay? She'll sleep with them, she'll become friends with many of them that are higher value than me, that really are by fact. And she'll hope that one of them she can lock down, basically. Her whole perception of that whole thing also, locking down, is mentally broken because they see relationship as locking down. They don't see it as connecting. They don't see it as loving, sharing, being vulnerable. It's not just the word, oh, I'm being vulnerable. I'm literally being vulnerable. Like, I'm taking a shit next to you, like, not literally next to you, but my bed's over here, my bathroom's behind me. That's what vulnerable means. I'm vomiting in front of you because I'm unwell for some reason. That's being vulnerable for someone. Even being without clothes is being vulnerable for someone. But they've lost that value. They lose their clothes very easily for someone that is perceived higher value than them. That's not called being vulnerable. That's trying to exploit your own body, of trying to present your body when it's supposed to be vulnerability, not presentation, in order to get something that is higher value or perceived. And that's how it is. So her mental frame is broken. It's definitely broken. She's ill. Like, these kinds of people are ill. Not only are they delusional, but they are ill people. They struggle to understand the value of two people being together. It can be same gender or not. They don't see the whole point of two people being together inside of general life. They don't. It's just value. It's broken. It is broken. What was happening in before was she was hoping that I would chase her and that I would like other men that is lower value than her, or maybe same value as her. They usually chase her. So when I wasn't chasing her and I'm lower value or same value, let's say if I was same value as her at that time, then she would be surprised. Why is this guy not chasing me? And that's what should happen. Like, if I'm perceived as higher value or the same value as you, you should be chasing me. I'm a better human being. I'm better. Why are you not chasing me? It's mental illness. I don't know what you expect me to say to you. It's mental illness. It's not only someone being delusional, it's someone losing the framework of themselves, of who they are, what's important in their own life, who, what kind of life do they want. It's structured around what kind of life do people I respect around me want, and how can I copy that, basically. What do you want me to say? For me, this is not valuable. For me, this is not valuable. Not valuable. If she was a 7 out of 10, if she was a 9 out of 10 out of 10, people would call me crazy. Some people would be like, oh, this is incredible. Why do you not accept this woman? Yeah. Many people won't learn this lesson. Unfortunately, that's the way it is. So I'm hoping by making this video that many people of all genders, of all ages and both genders can hopefully watch this and hopefully see that this is it's an epidemic. It's 100% an epidemic. It's way more happening now compared to before, way more. And I think it's finally collapsing because this new generation of Gen Z are not, for a number of reasons, not just because of this being educated, but also because they don't have enough money, for example. They're not accepting single women in any kind of dating. Many of them, many of the generation that is Gen Z. Which is good because it means that this game basically, is collapsing because there's no end result. If the end result becomes very, very, very low, no one's going to do it eventually. I believe, I'm not sure, but I believe that women have this sense of view that if something works, even if it's 5%, even if it's 2%, they'll try it much more than a guy would. I think this is true. That's usually what I see happening. And this is one of them. That's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next.